Hey now. Losses are piling up. Excuses are the same. These are the effects of a rebuild. Happy New Year, everybody. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Pucknologists, the only completely live, unfiltered, unedited, uncensored, commercial-free Sharks podcast, wrapping up the week of Sharks hockey, part of Teal Town, USA. Oh, if it's your first time checking out the cast, hit that subscribe button on the platform of your choice, if you please. Oh my gosh, jerk, the Sharks were dominated all week. Again. It's fucking Groundhog Week here. But it's a takeover, so we're taking over for After Dark, which means we get into the game you just saw. San Jose losing 3-1 at Colorado. Kakinen getting a start. Well, I mean, this was to be expected. The Sharks haven't won a fucking game in Colorado since 1819. They haven't won.
Did somebody say playoffs?
Oh, dude. What else? You know what happened in 1819, if I remember? Wasn't there a Game 7 that year?
There were 2 Game 7s.
Oh, you don't say.
One of them in particular, I seem to remember was very thrilling. I can't say why.
Well, they haven't won a game on New Year's Eve since 2014. They're now 0-6. And Colorado, again, the best home record in the NHL, now 15-4. Oof. Look, silver lining, I mean, the Sharks came in 0 for 10 on the power play, and they got a power play goal tonight. So, I mean, at least there's that.
Silver lining was that the game ended.
Of course. But, and I mean, they weren't completely horrible despite losing Ferraro halfway through the first period.
I was going to say, I wonder if pick your deity. I wonder if Ferraro only playing just over 4 minutes in this game. I wonder if anybody maybe, put some kind of feelers out there to their higher power of choice to maybe get that number down a bit for the giveaway.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Okay. Jeez. Oh my gosh. All right. So we'll get to that. Oh, that's funny. Ay. So, I mean, dude, it was 11 minutes before the Sharks got a shot on goal in the first. It was 15 minutes before they got a shot on goal in the third. I mean, did they think Mark Bergevin was going to show up and just throw the puck in the Sharks' net?
Definitely seemed like they were waiting for something.
Yeah, dude. The first Sharks goal since the first period versus LA. So 6 straight periods without a goal for San Jose.
We drew it up.
8 straight loss. Another shorthanded empty netter allowed. Think we get to 11 straight losses? I mean, dude, Detroit, they're going to be pissed off after being embarrassed on what I, longingly, fondly look back on as Heart Attack Day.
A day that will live in infamy.
Right? Then you have Winnipeg coming in. They're going to be pissed because they got gassed 2-1. The last time the Sharks won a game, by the way. But if you haven't noticed, Winnipeg right at the, fighting tooth and nail with Dallas for that top spot in the Central. And then, dude, then you got Toronto, and they're just going to be coming in saying, hey, can we see both your goalies back to back? Is that cool? Because we're probably going to make an offer on one of them.
I was going to say, we might need to trade for one of them.
Yeah. So, look, I mean, it was a shitty game. So there's your After Dark. Hope you enjoyed that hot, 5 minutes or whatever it's been. I mean, it's a shitty week. It's what are you going to do? A 5-1 loss, a 5-0 loss, and a 3-1 loss. The Sharks over 3 games have gotten 2 goals.
I was kind of shocked that the Sharks hung in there as long as they did, despite how outplayed they were. Yeah, and I think that speaks to Kakinen more than anything else.
I would agree.
Like, he's, whatever you want to say about the stats and recent history, like, he was good.
Oh, look at that. Brett in the chat says, thank you for the prize. Opened it on Christmas. Nice.
Shout out.
Nice.
Merry Chrysler.
Hey, congratulations on winning. So, Cat gets 2 starts. I don't know that you could really blame either of the losses on him. I mean, I will say I thought definitely one that Fiala breakaway goal, I think Kakkonen probably should have had.
Yeah, that one, I mean, it was just so sudden too, right?
Yeah.
And so you're kind of already behind it, like right from the very beginning. I mean, I know Zetterlund got them up early in that game, but to come from the intermission thinking you're going to put the pedal down, and then Fiala, Trevor Lewis, Pierre-Luc Dubois, it's like, all right, well, I guess not.
Yeah. No. And despite the fact that LA hasn't been that great at home.
No, well, every team needs they need a game where they get their head on straight, and evidently that was that night for LA.
So the Sharks would get run for the second time in just over a week versus the Kings. I mean, the headline on that is good team beats bad team, and it's another game where the Sharks can't hold the lead. Then Edmonton comes in, and just like I was saying a minute ago about Winnipeg, Edmonton came in wanting to make a statement because the last time it cost Woodcroft his job, basically. And they were going to get some payback. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. LeBanc scratched, of course.
I had a feeling this game, like, I don't really know what I expected from this game. I was thinking one of two things, like you had pointed out. Either the Sharks, again, this was going to be the Sharks head-on straight game, and they were going to do something, or Edmonton was going to completely blitz them. You know what I mean? Like, I figured it was one or the other, right? And so, did a little sprinkle. 2+ goals in the first period. We had 4. That was great for me.
Nice.
But you got the vibe, right? Like Edmonton kind of wanting to get on track, right? And then the Sharks getting pumped in LA the night before. You were thinking, okay, one of these teams is going to come out buzzing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
it wasn't the Sharks.
I was gonna say, depending on how you look at it, it was either the right team or the wrong team, just kind of whatever your feeling is.
Well, I mean, dude, the team literally came out with that Corona.
Yeah, and poor guy got completely shelled in the first period. I do feel bad for him.
Dude, 12 goals against average. 12.
Well, and Burroughs and Ferraro were heavy minuses as well.
Oh, dude. So Burroughs thrown up a -5, Ferraro -4. I mean, Kakkonen, to his credit, saved 17 of 18 and posted a .944. But let's be honest, by then, Oilers, the dogs had been called off. They're up 4-0. The Sharks weren't putting up much of a fight. So, bada bing, bada boom.
And you know what? You talk about like, a heavy push. Right, maybe like you said, putting up a fight. William Eklund, 6 shots on goal. So, as we always talk about, right, like building for the future and establishing trends and all this kind of stuff. The right guy was sort of leading the troops, for lack of a better expression, in trying to generate some momentum. And I think you like to see that. Like if it's a guy who is going to get traded away at the trade deadline and he's the one that's buzzing, you're in trouble.
Fucking A.
But if you're the guy who, of this current roster, the guy who will probably be here the longest, you want to see him being the one leading the charge. So, that's kind of the glass half full variety, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you brought up Burroughs there for a second. I mean, dude, there was an article from somebody earlier this week talking about, like, what a great leader Kyle's turned into. And I'm like, he's fucking -12 over these 7-game skid. Like, literally the worst. It hasn't posted a fucking point. And I'm kind of like going, okay, sure. I mean, I guess, dude, everybody needs a clickbait article, I suppose. I mean, holy crap. I didn't even understand that. But look, this is the rebuild we all wanted, people. This is the one the Sharks needed. They were ridiculously late to admit it, but dude, what happens if the Sharks finish last and don't get the #1 pick? Like, what if Chicago gets it again?
I think it would be really unfortunate, but I also think you have to, like, you gotta play the hand you're dealt, right? I mean, like the teams that have the teams that have rebounded, right? Like who went through the rebuild and then came out the other side, like, you know, Edmonton, multiple first overall picks.
Jesus.
Toronto had a first overall pick. The Florida Panthers had a first overall pick. You know what I mean? But these teams, like, you got to make your hay outside of first overall as well, right? I mean,
hell yeah.
Mitch Marner, 4th overall. William Nylander, 8th overall. You look at Edmonton. Leon Draisaitl, 4th overall. Darnell Nurse, I believe, was 9th overall.
Joe Pavelski, 217th overall.
Sure. But so, like, if the Sharks don't get number 1 overall, that doesn't mean that they can't turn this bitch around. I mean, would it be significantly easier to? Sure, but not impossible. And I think...
But, dude, if they finish with the best odds and they don't get it, and Chicago gets it...
Yeah, well, that reminds me of, like, one of my favorite stories in pro sports is the Buffalo Sabres in 2013-14 and 14-15, like, trying everything in their power to get number 1 overall so they can get Aaron Ekblad, and then the next year trying everything in their power to get Connor McDavid first overall in 2015. And, like, literally, you made too many saves. It's like, we got to stop playing you, you know, and like, oh, you scored, get the fuck out of here. And, you know, and so to do all that work to get rid of good players and tank, for lack of a better word, and then to come up short on the first overall pick 2 years in a row, like, yeah, that would suck, right?
Dude.
But at the same time, you got to make your hay where you get it, where you can, you know.
Well, and the rebuild has a start in the pipeline. Even Hahn tonight on the pregame finally admitted that the Sharks, you have to draft, but you have to develop who you draft. Is McCarthy the guy you want steering that ship?
I would say no. I know there was some. I don't know if you saw the group chat or not, but there was some controversy over the Barracuda lines. What day was that? Friday, I think, or Saturday?
Yeah, where it's like, wait, is this upside down?
I just, and again,
and funnily enough, they won that game in the shootout, by the way.
and I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way, because I do genuinely think all people involved are nice people. But it's to the point where, like, like my play now is I watch the game on mute because I don't want to hear it. But, like,
are you talking Sharks or Cuda?
Sharks.
Oh, okay.
But you just, like, certain things, like, they flash on my screen and I'm just so, like, over it. Like, I'm like, ugh, I can't even look. Like, I know you feel the same way.
Yeah.
Where, like, I absolutely hate it. Like, it's very high on my shit list. I hate being spoken to like I'm stupid.
Yeah,
and
the patronizing stuff is annoying.
And sometimes I feel that way watching the Sharks broadcast.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and honestly, had it not been Colorado, I probably would have watched the Colorado broadcast. But the only downside is the Colorado broadcast is worse than the Sharks one.
I know, it's not great.
And again, before anybody tries to cancel me, all parties involved are nice people. I just don't like the messaging.
Yeah, well, and I've said it a bajillion times. Like, dude, I've got a lot, being a DJ for as long as I was, I know a ton of DJs. A couple of them, nicest guys on the planet, and I'm not a fan of the way they do their gig.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple guys, couple of DJs that I know, dude, they're kind of like total assholes, but goddamn do they fucking DJ their asses off. So, I mean, it's, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, but I still go, look, if you really want to build this pipeline, I think you find somebody who has some success doing it. And none of this shit of, well, the most wins in AHL history. Also has the most losses.
Yeah.
Like, stop with that. And
I mean,
go ahead.
You want, and I've said this all along, I think, going back to when they fired DeBoer, right? Like, you want a coach, and a lot of people say it's Ryan Warsofsky. You want a coach that will grow with the group of players, right?
Yeah, well, you saw what happened with Dallas Eakin.
Right. And so that's not to say that, if you want to bring it back to the Barracuda, that's not to say that John McCarthy couldn't get there at some point, but early indications are it's a bit quizzical. And I think you could say the same thing with Bob Bugner, right?
And Woodcroft.
And Jay Woodcroft as well, where it's like, that's a good example. Jay Woodcroft is someone who kind of grew with the group, but with Bob Bugner, it was more like, it was almost like the opposite, where it's like, okay, Bob Bugner, he has his guys, he wants to do his thing, and he's not really, espousing the company message, so to speak.
Well, dude, 3 guys tonight on the roster were drafted by San Jose. So Eklund, Hertl, and Ferraro. You look at the entire roster, it's just 5 guys. Eklund, Hertl, Ferraro, Couture, and Vlasic. And then you go back to the 15-16 Cup season, dude, Braun, Couture, DeMello, Goodrow, Hertl, Melker, Marlowe, Nieto, Pavelski, Tierney, Wingles, Vlasic. Like over half the roster had been drafted by the Sharks.
Well, even the point, I know this is kind of different from what you're saying, but even what we had talked about a couple weeks ago, and I hate to do it, but like
do it.
The last time the Sharks were in the playoffs, like how many players from that team are still on the roster? You know,
dude,
it's Vlasic, it's Couture, and it's LeBanc,
Hertl,
and so it's kind of like, you know, I think that is actually a good thing. I think that's step 1 of the transition into the next era of Sharks hockey. But to your point, like eventually, like you got to start seeing, like, you know, the lineup needs to start being populated with players who were drafted by the Sharks or young players that weren't drafted by the Sharks, but the Sharks kind of took on them early on and are sort of taking on the onus of shaping them. You know, not unlike
Henry Thrun.
Not unlike Henry Thrun, not unlike the plan for Philip Zadina. You know what I mean? Where it's like, hey, we didn't draft you, but you're young enough to where like we can mold you to kind of be from our system, sort of deal. You need to start seeing that. And I had a conversation with our friend Ryan earlier, and he was talking like, when is Bordelot getting in the lineup? And I'm like, well, first of all, there has to be room for him.
Yeah.
But second of all, like you gotta
there'd be room if he played defense.
Right. You know, there's got to be room for him, but also, you know, at a certain point, you have to, you know, you got to put your own hands on the wheel, and you got to say, hey, you know what? I know there's 100 fucking forwards here. I'm better than all of them. Watch this.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, see,
so it's
and I don't know.
It's a double-edged kind of thing. On one hand, the players need to take the reins, but on the other hand, management and coaching needs to put the reins in their field of view. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Taco Cruz, do you think Will Smith will play in the NHL next season, or will he go to the A? No, he should. To me, he should go to the A. Absolutely.
Well, the thing is, because he's a college draft pick, like, if you're signing him, you think he can make an NHL impact. If you don't think he can make an NHL impact, I would just leave him in college and let him completely torch the NCAA.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, but it's like we can't pick these guys when they're green. If we're gonna pick that fruit, it's got to be hella ripe.
Yeah.
So
and that's fine. Like what are the, like, you know, say Will Smith. I mean, I've seen some people speculate if Will Smith leaves college at the end of his season and signs with the Sharks to end this current NHL season. Maybe he does, but maybe he doesn't. I don't really think it matters either way. You know what I mean? Like, it's, you know, development as a professional athlete is nowhere close to a straight line. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We get some quotes. Thanks, Eric. Losing is not easy, but we battled. It is what it is. We did the small things, and that's huge. From Kakinen. I mean, sure. Okay. Again, it's one of the, like that right there. Like, I'm not trying to be a dick. That right there. Losing is not easy. We battled. It is what it is. We did the small things, and that's huge. Like, that's why I don't like talking to players, because that is like so cliche.
Well, not only that, but just that one, like, it is what it is. Like, no.
Has it ever been what it wasn't?
I mean, because here's the thing. Like, if it is what it is, then what it is sucks.
Right?
You know what I mean? To your point, in the first period, you had 3 shots on goal. In the third, you had 2. If that is what it is, you got a lot to worry about.
Yeah, dude. If that's your best, maybe just leave that alone.
Our expectations for you were low, but holy fuck.
Well, dude, no team has been shut out as many times as the Sharks. The thing that blew me away, dude, is after getting shellacked 10-1 over the 2 games combined versus LA and Edmonton, the Sharks got Friday off.
And Saturday.
Dude, it's like, and you heard Quinn in post-game after Edmonton, it's lacked commitment, couldn't control the neutral, poor puck management, high danger turnovers. You know, dude, you've won one of your last 9 games. You give the team a day off when they get a rare couple of days off. Like maybe practice something, special teams, maybe puck protection.
I feel like this is just a continuation from our conversation last week, right? Where it's got to be really tiring to have to talk to the media every freaking day
about the same shit.
Yeah,
because it's the same excuses over and over and over.
Man.
The one thing, can you say over this week? I mean, dude, did anybody up their trade value? I would say no. Did anybody hurt it? I mean, maybe Barabanov. He certainly hasn't been the player this season that he was previous.
I do wonder, and I don't want to speculate because I have no idea, but I do wonder if the injury.
You think he came back too fast?
Yeah, like just I don't know. I think also the type of player that Barabanov is, he benefits from playing with like guys who can do most of the heavy lifting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's really it's that same old adage of like, yeah, he can pass the puck really well, but if he's passing it to no one, like, you know, what good is it doing? And you know, he played today with, or at least he started the game with Justin Bailey and Ryan Carpenter, like two serviceable NHL players, but you know, those are not the guys that a player like Barabanov he should be playing with if you want to see success, you know?
Yeah. And seeing Ian saying everybody screams bag skate like it's 1930, it's not like the CBA isn't a thing. No, I'm not screaming a bag skate, but it was an optional. Like, I don't know that I would have had an optional in that. You know, like, if you're going to sit there and talk about all these things that aren't being done correctly,
yeah, but
maybe you practice it.
But okay, but
even if you just have a meeting and you talk about it, you don't even strap them on.
But here's the thing, shoe on the other foot. Do you not think that at some point there's room to say, hey, you know what? We've like what prior to tonight's game, what was it? 6 in a row they'd lost? 7? 8?
7 coming into tonight.
Yeah. So like I feel like at a certain point, if you're David Quinn, you say, look,
just get away.
The last 7 games we've been freaking terrible. Go away. You know, the game against the Edmonton Oilers was on
Wednesday. No, Thursday.
Thursday game, you say, hey, you know what? Today is Thursday. We don't have another game till Saturday. I don't want to fucking see you until Sunday. Sorry. I don't want to see you again until Sunday morning. Go like
despite having the holidays off.
Right. Go spend time with your family. Go to the park. Go see a movie. Do whatever you need to do to get your head on straight. And then come to Colorado. And even if we lose, we need to play inspiring hockey.
There you go. So that's kind of the shoe on the other foot to what you're saying about the optional skate. All right. So look, 0-0 for me, it's going to be real fucking quick. I think if it's going to be,
where we are already.
Well, yeah, dude. We come on, we're going. Dude, Thrun or Granlund. That's those are the only ones I can even consider.
Oh man. Yeah, the pickings are really slim. Like.
Well, everybody else is getting my 0 this week. So,
yeah, I mean, the Sharks, they had 2 goals this week, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
so where do you go? And you know, Corona got shellacked. And I mean, I think maybe you could almost make a case for Kakinen, but then again, I go back to the Fiala goal.
All right, I got one for you.
All right, make it quick.
Jan Ruta for being not a minus player in all 3 games this week.
Oh, all right. I'll give you that. So, dude, did you see Bedard going Michigan on Binnington?
I did. I love that.
Dude, that was a Christmas gift we all needed. I love
for many reasons. I mean,
so many.
I know people got sick of like hearing about Bedard, which I think on some level I did too.
Me too.
But at the same time, when the most exciting, you know, player to come in the NHL in 8 years does exciting things, like it is good for the league. You have people who've never watched hockey, they're like, man, that guy's fucking sick. I got to watch his next game. So new fans is awesome. I'm all for it.
Oh, we do have a couple. Funnily enough, we have a couple comments coming in from Quinn. It says, yesterday was our 3rd practice in a month. Iron out things defensively, and it showed tonight. Well, maybe you could have carved a 4th one in there. I don't know.
But again, I'm not a pro athlete, so who am I to say anything? But I feel like you don't need practice to know the fundamentals.
Yeah, dude, you can't practice commit level.
Yeah,
you're either committed or you aren't. So,
Right.
dude. So, you know what? Let's have some fun with this real quick. Or actually, you know what? Let's. We're gonna save this. Well, you know what? We're gonna save it for next week. But the thing, my homework for you, teams to watch in the second half. Next week. I want you to give me your team to watch in every division.
Sure.
Team to watch on the come up, and maybe the team you think is going to decline, and we'll see where we're at.
Okay, so a riser and a faller for each division.
Yeah, like you know, like I'm just going to say, like right now, I'm going to say, in the at least in the West, I'm going to say, you know what? I think Vegas makes it into the playoffs as a wild card.
Okay.
So that's just a little teaser. But that's something we'll get into next week, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun with that. Any thoughts on the World Juniors? Last time I looked, Jake Furlong has an assist for Canada. Havlid has a goal and 3 assists for Sweden. Bysted has 3 goals and a helper for Sweden. Halttunen has 3 goals and 3 assists for Finland. Will Smith, 2 goals and an assist, but is the faceoff leader, while Polkamp has a goal and 2 assists. Both of those guys for USA. Anybody standing out to you big time, or is it just kind of like, hey, you know what? It's just juniors. Like, let's not read too much into this shit.
Well, so I will admit I haven't watched the World Juniors as much as I have in recent years, just because, if you can believe it, I am somehow still battling the bug that I had a couple weeks ago.
No, it sounds like it.
And it actually came back a little bit. I don't want to scare anybody, but I saw a TikTok that it's making me think some things. Well, that'll be the final thoughts section.
Yeah, send it.
But just like obviously, like, following, if you don't already, Ian, Kevin, Mark, Jules, like, you should be following them on Twitter, because they're going to give you like all the lowdown on everything that's going on outside of the NHL roster, obviously much better than I or AJ could. And so what has been really encouraging to me is seeing, and maybe it's low hanging fruit, but like seeing Will Smith play well. Like, the Sharks took him 4th overall. Like, you want the diamond prospect to be playing well, right? Like, if what's
funny though is that one of the reviews I've seen is Smith actually out of the group could potentially be playing the worst.
Which, yeah, I mean, the stat, that is kind of how the World Juniors work, especially when you're on Team USA or Canada. You do kind of run it up a bit. But I think the most exciting thing for me has been Halttunen, just because I kind of think he is one of like the sort of sleeper picks from last year's draft. And so it's exciting that the Sharks were able to get their hands on him, and he's played very well. Obviously in the World Juniors, he's played very well outside of that as well. And so I think that's exciting. Just, it's easy to be excited about first overall or first round picks, top 10 picks, that kind of stuff. But when you've got guys scattered all throughout the tournament playing well, like it does give you a sense of optimism for the future.
Well, and again, like we mentioned earlier, dude, draft and develop, baby. You're going to have to figure this out. Hope it works out. Oh, boy. Tweet of the week, dude. It's a good one. Oh, is it so good? Oh, it gives me a little happy in the fun spot. Evidently, there's a new antitrust suit against the NFL, and all 32 teams, and Fanatics. According to the complaint, the licensing deal between the NFL and Fanatics is anti-competitive and designed to thwart competition and keep the price of NFL licensed merch as high as possible. Let me follow that up with 3 words. No fucking shit. So let's see how that goes, but I'm juiced to see someone finally bringing some sort of lawsuit, let's get some litigation involved. Let's end the fucking national nightmare that is known as Fanatics. Break this shit up. Oh, I can't take it anymore.
So do you want to know something interesting?
Say it.
And this does kind of crap all over the point that you just made. But I'm with you. Fanatics, we could spend a whole podcast.
It's a shitstorm, yeah.
But the one moment, and the one moment I've given Fanatics their flowers has been on their headwear. And so for Christmas, my mother-in-law got me a 49ers beanie from Fanatics. I have to say, it's a pretty nice beanie. So,
all right. Well, there you go. The Ryan saying the lawsuit's going to get tossed. Hey, maybe it will, but maybe it'll embolden somebody else to bring some more shit. And you know what? Shit's got to start somewhere. So
right, exactly.
You know, maybe the next lawsuit will be taken a bit more seriously, and so on and so forth.
Somebody's got to walk so that someone else can run, right?
Absolutely. Speaking of which,
ooh, Barracuda.
So the Barracuda did play a home this week against Bakersfield, going 1-1. The Cuda have only had consecutive wins once this season. Are you kidding me? Oddly enough, against the top team in the division, the Wranglers. But against Bakersfield, they did pull off a 5-4 shootout win. They scored 3 times in the third, erasing a 2-goal hole. Figure that one out. They win their first shootout of the year. Shootout goals coming from Gushin and Robbins. But in game 2, it's a 4-2 loss. Goals from Gavanki and Knizhov. But Gushin and Robbins both pick up assists, as do Mukabadulin and Bordalo. Gavanki scored in both games. So, probably likely to get called up soon. So the Sharks can dress, 8 or 9D, right? So follow Tealtown USA. Like we said, Ian Reed, Sharks Jules, Lacey, Mark E. on Twitter for those live tweets and GIFs during most Barracuda games. It is prize time. So I'm going to do 2 here. Let's see here. Ferraro, time on ice, I believe, was the tail. Was it not last week?
Was the what?
Was what we were looking for.
Yes, Ferraro's ice time in these 3 games.
In the 3 L.A., Edmonton, and tonight versus Colorado. What is that total, sir?
What? It it is, drum roll.
What it is?
Oh God, what happened? Where'd it go? Malfunction. Okay, got it. It was, and admittedly, it would have been a lot higher had he not gotten banged up. It was 47 minutes and 30 seconds across the 3 games.
And who came closest without going over? And did anybody, just because Ferraro, as we said, was gone by the first 10 minutes of tonight's game?
So here's the funny thing, and first-time winner, shout out.
Nice, we love those.
Here's the funny thing. The person who won is the person with the lowest guess. So, again, our winners, and if I butcher it, I apologize. Stephen Bahonik. You are our winner. I don't know if you put a hex on someone or something to get Ferraro's ice time down low, but you are our big winner. I will send you an email right now, actually, asking you for your address, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, there you go. Eric asking, hey, giveaway time already. You guys have somewhere to go? In fact, I do. That's why do you think I'm getting through this so fucking fast?
I was gonna say the wife and I are watching White Lotus. I gotta go watch that.
There you go. But it is New Year's, so I thought it'd be fun to just do a quickie. People, the Felixes, the Jerks, the Erics, the Tealtown people are obviously not allowed to play in this one. But I'm gonna do an instant giveaway. All this talk about Marc-Edouard Vlasic. Marc-Edouard Vlasic has worn another number for the Sharks other than 44. First person to put that number in correctly in the chat wins an Uprising jersey.
Oh, hey now.
All right. And as we wait for that to come in, next week, you want to win the prize pack? Here's your question. What is the total attendance for the next 3 games to be played at the arena? It's Detroit, Winnipeg, and Toronto are coming to town for 3 games this week. Right now, the total capacity for SAP, 17,435. Probably not going to be that.
Why?
Times 3. It might be, but we don't know. So closest without going over. What do you think the total attendance for those 3 games are going to be? If you think all 3 are going to sell out, you know what? Hit up Hockey Jerk with 17,435 times 3, whatever that is. And there you go. So hockeyjerk10@gmail.com. Remember, your answers must be submitted before puck drop of the first game, which is, when is that?
Tuesday.
Tuesday versus Detroit. So has to be in before then. And remember, you have to be in the U.S. 48. But if you're outside the U.S. 48 and you want to play, you have to cover the freight. And shout out to the person who did cover the freight, who won from Canada last week. Your prize should be shipping this week. And there you go. I think it's also going to be fun to see if we get the with these 3 games this week. Do you have a hope in hell of the Sharks scoring 4 or more, getting tacos at all?
Tacos. You know what?
No.
You know what? I can't say which one, but one of these games, they I don't know. I just think the dam's got to burst at some point, right? And I feel like it's going to be. I want to say it's going to be against Toronto. I really do.
All right. So the Sharks do play the Wings, Jets, and Leafs this week. Remarkably, we do not have a Sunday game until March. Thank God.
And even then, I believe the remaining Sunday games are all at favorable times, are they not?
Yeah, they all have us on earlier than normal. Excuse me. Thank God. So that means next Sunday we're back to our usual 7 p.m. start time, and will be for a couple months, thankfully. Like I said, next week we're going to talk about teams to watch, both going up the ladder and falling down. And we're also going to have our halfway through the season points, grades, whatever you want to say, to put out. I'm seeing people put numbers in here like 33,000, 30,000. In order to win the contest,
the regular contest, it's attendance for those 3 games. Email your guess to hockeyjerk10@gmail.com. For the instant game, which I'm about to cut off here in 2 minutes, for the instant game, Marc-Edouard Vlasic has worn 2 different numbers for the Sharks. One we all know, 44. What is the other one? And if you don't guess it by the time I'm closing this, then we're going to have to come up with then we'll save that prize for next week. So on Twitter, you can follow him at hockey_jerk. You can follow me at AJ_strong. Remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Leave your take in the comment section of the video. If you weren't with us live, you can find links to our social media, the podcast apps, and more, all that good stuff, always in the show notes, and find everything on tealtownusa.com. If you would like access to the VIP Discord party, you can hit up Hockey Jerk on the Twitter machine. I'm sure something's going to be going in there tonight for New Year's Eve in some way, shape, or form. And remember to check out After Dark following every single Sharks game this season. All right, we got 5 minutes. Your favorite moment of 2023, Jerk Man? Does it have to be hockey related, or can it be anything?
Oh, it can be whatever you'd like. It's 2023, baby.
It's 2023. You can't say it. I mean, I'm a bit biased, but I did enjoy getting married in 2023. So that was cool. I say so casually. Oh gosh. I don't know. I mean, not to say that this year was bad by any chance, but like memorable. Like I'd have to really sit and reflect and really, really think about it. Hockey related. Yeah, I don't know. I can't say. I mean, usually even when the Sharks have been terrible, like I've still gone to some really thrilling hockey games, but that hasn't happened this season. So
right.
I don't know. I think just, all the normal platitudes, good friends, good family, good health, all that bullshit. Because I think, the head coming off the pillow every day, when you think the bigger picture, like that's always a nice thing,
Yeah, I was going to say for me, every other day except December 7th probably stands out.
I wonder why.
Yeah. Aside from that, actually, you know what? For me, it might be, hey, Andrew, finally someone coming through with the number. Vlasic wore 67 before switching to 44. Thank you. I was worried somebody was not going to come through. So, Andrew, do me a favor. Email email hockeyjerk10@gmail.com and let him know, dude, one instant shirsey winner, and send him your address, and we'll get that out to you this week. Thank you for playing. Have a happy new year. And speaking of which, maybe tonight is going to be my favorite moment of 2023 because I get to go over to some friends, go over to their place tonight and have my first beer since December 7th. And it was signed off on by a doctor. It was like I had to give up like red meat. I had to give up smoking. I had to give up chocolate. I had to give up and I'm like, just give me one. Fucking one. You know, I'm like, can I have beer just like once a week, a couple beers? And they're like, yeah, okay, you can do that. I'm like, oh, thank God. Like I can, and they said in a few months we can look and say, you know what, maybe you can have a burger once every couple of months. You know,
there you go.
No cheese, you know, don't slather on the mayonnaise, but you know what? Little lettuce, little tomato, maybe a little barbecue, whole wheat bun, you're fine. And
little of this, little of that.
Yeah. And I'm good. I'm good with that. So anyway, dude, that's it. What do you think? Should we try to do like 45-minute shows forever now? Is this good? Or do we need to make up for this next week and do like 4 hours?
How about neither?
Just go back to what we usually do? Sounds good to me.
I do want to put out there.
Put it out.
So, and again, like, if you don't want to play, like, whatever. Like, nobody's going to fucking bully you into playing. But this season, you know, specifically the last couple of weeks, we've been getting some, like, good entries into the giveaways. You know what I mean? Like, 21, 24, 22 people we're talking about. 22 again, 24 again. This one's 21. Last couple weeks, and I understand it's the holiday, so I'm not going to bully anybody about this, but, you know, 2 weeks ago, 10 entries. Last week, 8 entries. Like, we're giving away free shit, guys. Like,
like all you need to do is like look at a couple numbers and make a guess.
And here's the thing. If you're somebody who maybe, you know, the offerings, maybe you've already got them. Guess what? AJ's going to go through his supplies and find something to give you.
Yeah, right?
I'm just kidding.
Dude, I will. But, like, remember, hold on. We're still waiting. We're still waiting for Mike Molasses to win.
That is true.
It's still sitting here.
The giveaway for Mike Molasses is on deck.
Yeah. I mean, dude, that might have to be a thing of like the last contest of the season might be something along the lines of, you know, guess the Teal Town fan that has what is that about, like 13 letters in their name? Is that about what it is?
Whose name?
14, 15, somewhere in there. Whatever it is. That both start with M. So anyway.
Who is Matt Nieto's biggest fan?
Yeah, that could very well be it. So we thank you so much for joining us tonight. Was it quickie? We'll do better next Sunday. I promise. What is it? Celebration of January 6th. No, just kidding. We'll be on January 7th. So with that, thank you so much. Hope you guys have a spectacular and safe Happy New Year tonight. Spend a great New Year's Eve. Have a good time. Don't get crazy. Don't go full AJ. You can go some AJ. Don't go full AJ. The beer that I'm having tonight is literally called Mountain of Mayhem.
I was gonna say, I hope you at least picked a good one to, you know.
Oh yeah, of course. But if you're gonna go tonight, Mohill of Mayhem, not a mountain, just a mohill.
There you go.
A little bit. So with that, thank you so much. Have a fantastic New Year's Eve. We'll catch you next Sunday or with After Dark following Sharks and who the hell are we playing? Detroit. There you go, everybody. Good night.